Hi everyone, it's Alexis back with the Ravenclaw Queen. Today we're going to be discussing some financial tips. So please tune in and like, comment, subscribe if you have more questions. I would love to hear from you guys. So yeah, thank you so much for supporting me. So let's get right into it. We're going to first start off with like some of my background knowledge that I have. So when I was in high school, I believe, or maybe even earlier than that, my mom opened a founder's account for me and my brother. It was, I think, originally just a savings account. And then when we got to 18, we got a checking account. So I kind of have some financial literacy just from that. I knew about treasury bonds because my grandpa had a treasury bond for me and my brother that we got access to. I think when I was in law school, my mom like cashed it because you have to wait a certain amount of time for you to really get any money back. So yeah, so that was something. And then I've just, over the years, I've tried to save, and I do have a credit card. So that's something I've learned more about. I didn't get my credit card until 2021, I think. So yeah. So I'm still learning about credit and, how to boost my credit, things like that. And I'll talk more about that maybe in a separate video. This video is going to be more about saving, investing, slash like just little things to help with retirement. And mainly because one of my subscribers wanted to know information about finances, and then another subscriber had a question that I really liked. So we're going to get into that. So thank you guys for your questions. So the question was, how can someone save with the inflation in the economy, basically? So if you guys don't know, we are in what I would consider more of an economic downturn. If you have taken any econ classes, you'll understand, the economy is not performing well. While there's arguments that more people are getting jobs, there's also plenty of articles on companies. I know Citigroup or Citibank, whatever, they laid off like 20,000 people. So yeah, there's a lot of people losing jobs as well. If you're trying to buy a house, like it's just very difficult. You got to put a bunch of money down. It's just not really a good market for buyers, honestly. The interest rates are really high. So I could talk more about housing and finances as well in a different video, but we're going to focus on her topic of how do you save. And the simple answer would be, you just have to do it, and you have to prioritize it. So instead of getting your cup of coffee from the cafe every morning, how about you I just started using, it's like Stoke. I think it's called Stoke. I got it from Food Lion, but it's like a little green bottle. It's about this big. Oh yeah, it's kind of big. It lasts me like 5 days a week. And I have some creamer. Like I got like the peppermint mocha creamer that I like from Food Lion as well. It's like the Coffee Mate brand, I think. But also, yeah, since we're boycotting Starbucks, I think it's also a good idea to just make your own coffee. So yeah, you could save yourself $6 or $7 every day, just by not drinking coffee from a cafe. And that adds up. So $7 every day, that's $49 in a week. And I was gonna say, it's as little as, it could be as little as just saving $25 a week, $50 a week. Like whatever your goals are, then that's what you need to focus on. So it may not be easy, but it's not impossible. That's what I want you guys to take from this. So my first tip was to set a goal. So whether you're trying to buy a car, or you want to get an apartment and you want to have like a sum of money saved before you get an apartment, or whether you want to buy a house. So you have to set a clear goal of how much money you need. And then I would say give yourself like a range of when you think that you would be able to do this. Like, I don't really like setting a specific like month or a specific day. Like, depends on what it is. But for me personally, like when I say, oh, I want to buy a house, I'm giving myself 2 to 3 years because I'm comfortable with my living situation at home, so there's no rush. And I also want to be able to put down 5 to 10% down on a house. And for a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, or 2.5 bath, the houses are running like 450 to 500K. So that that could be like so much in a down payment. So yeah. I would say you just give yourself a range, like 2 to 3 years, or if you want to be more specific, you could say like 3 to 6 months if you're trying to buy a car or get an apartment in that time frame. And then I would say, for like breaking down how much you want to save, I would say you can start week by week or check by check. So if you get paid bi-weekly, so every 2 weeks, then I would say do it per check, just because I don't know, it's harder for me to put aside money when I don't have money coming in that week, if it makes sense. So I personally want to do it when I get a fresh check, like just go ahead, take the money out and it's gone, like, and I have it handled. So yeah, and I did some math. So if you have a goal to put a down payment on a car, let's say it's a cheaper car, if you take $100 out of your check now this is for a year, so there's 52 weeks in a year, so I rounded to like 26 checks, so $100 per check, so 100 times 26, that's 2,600. So you'd have, and of course you can change how much you want to save over time. So if you want to put more than 100 on every check, then you can absolutely do that. So let's say you get up to 3,000. So yeah, I mean, 3,000 is a good down payment on a car, especially if you have good credit, you know? So those are my first 2 tips. So set a goal and start saving per check. So my third tip would be to put all the money that you're taking out of your check into a high yield savings account. I personally use Marcus by Goldman Sachs. You can use any other financial service. I know that Marcus does 4.5% APY, or annual percentage yield. So that's pretty good. I've seen some other banks or institutions that are a little higher, but I've never heard of those banks, so that's why I chose Marcus. So that's my other tip. Then my next tip would be like, try to make it fun and creative. So if you're more like a visual person, like I'm kind of visual sometimes, so I would suggest doing a savings challenge. If you haven't seen these, so on TikTok Shop or just like Pinterest or just Google, whatever, they have like workbooks or like a chart or something, and every time you put away a certain amount of money, you can like X it out or color it in, or they have different types of things. And most of these workbooks are pretty cheap from what I've seen, and it'll have like, once you finish the page or whatever it is, it'll say this is how much money you should have saved. So that'll also help you keep track. If you feel like you don't really even know how much you want to save, it'll give you ideas as well. My fifth tip is to open up a Roth IRA account. So an IRA is basically an individual retirement account. There's traditional and then there's Roth. So I chose Roth because it is like tax-free, and you do not have to withdraw the money at all. So like some traditional IRAs require you to do like the minimum withdrawal over time. So with the Roth IRA, you can't even touch the money until you're 59 and a half, which I would just say 60 years old, but so you can't even touch that money. For me, I use Fidelity Investment, so that's helped. And then my next tip would be, and I can go into that more, I just don't really want to bore you guys with too much. So my next tip is, if you work a full-time job or your job offers 401k, definitely tap into the 401k. Also ask if your company matches 401k. So I Googled some companies and it looks like Microsoft, Amazon, Walmart, Apple, like, those companies, they will match your 401k, which means they'll double what you have when it's time to pay it out. And my last tip that I wrote down is if you do have extra disposable income, so let's say you're already making 80K a year, you're single, you have no kids, so you kind of have extra money. I would say hire a financial advisor to help you manage your money, because they can invest money for you. You don't even have to worry about it. They can help plan like when to put aside your money. So I would just say like look up financial planning in general and like get some, do some research on your own for sure. And I'm actually working to become a financial advisor, so that's why I went and got my master's in business with banking and finance, because I want to be a financial advisor. I still have like a bunch of certifications to get, so I would not say that I'm an expert at all, but I do have some knowledge. Hopefully I'll be able to help people professionally within the next 6 months. That's my goal. So yeah, so those are all like my tips. I did want to share a funny story. This is not really finance related, it's job related. And I'm gonna do probably like a series on like my career slash job failures, I'll say, or just like things that just did not work the way I wanted them to. I'm thinking about it more just because I don't want people to think I'm bashing any company when I'm not trying to bash anyone. But this is a story. It doesn't even relate to a specific company because it was a scam. So, and this is also just to like let you guys know like how to approach certain things when you are looking for a job. And I'll be frank, I was very desperate for a good job. I had just left, I was planning to leave Wells Fargo. And I just saw this opportunity and I was like jumping on it. So basically I got an email, which red flag if it's an email from a company that you don't remember applying for. So I got an email and they were like, oh, we saw your resume on this site or whatever, which I had put my resume out there. So I was like, okay, maybe they really did see my resume. And then they were like, we want to interview you. But the interview was through Telegram. I don't know if you guys know what Telegram is. It's like an app where you can message. And they like were messaging me questions and I was just responding with my interview answers, which was, when I think about it, like, why did I even do that? I should have said, well, can you call me on the phone, or like, can we do a video interview or something? So then, but they were offering $27 an hour, which I was like, ooh, like, because at the time, like, I was making like $17 an hour at Wells Fargo. So yeah, and the position was just gonna be like a work from home job. Like I was gonna be, it wasn't necessarily call center work, it was like administrative work or something. So they were saying like, you got the job, we're gonna have to send you equipment, you're gonna have to order it from this website, we'll send you some checks to pay for the equipment. I'm like, okay, they'll send me the checks. I thought I had a good job, $27 an hour, work from home, administrative job. That was not true. When I went to deposit the checks at the bank, the first two, they didn't do any type of hold or anything, straight through, which I knew was not a good idea because I worked at Wood Forest before that. So anyway, this bank, I won't say their name, but they didn't do any precautionary things for that transaction. I went, ordered this stuff that I thought I needed from the website. Then they sent me one more check. And then I went back to the bank and tried to deposit that check. They started asking questions like, oh, where is this from? Why is it so much? I was telling them about this job and they were like, oh, well, the other checks didn't go through, so we think this is a scam. Basically, I had to meet with like one of their managers or branch people, whatever. And they were like, oh, well, we need you to pay this back. We can make payment plans for it. and this is like over $8,000. I was like, nope, I cannot do that. So yeah, I have yet to pay them. I just closed my account with them, and I just said whatever. I was a member for since I was a kid. You guys can't, this is what they have FDIC insurance for, I think, or that's probably wrong. But anyway, you guys can correct me in the comments. But either way, they make enough money. They could, $8,000 really? Like you're a bank, okay? So, but that's all for this video. Just be careful with scams. And if you want more tips or more explanation for certain tips, please let me know. Give me a like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys. Signing off, the Ravenclaw Queen. Bye-bye.